What's something you're ashamed you enjoy simply because of its stigma? Fanfiction. Not even the erotic kind, just normal stories retold. I like alternate history, which is like fanfiction for reality. Coloring. I am a 29-year-old woman, but I love coloring. When I get stressed, I'll grab a coloring book and my good markers. Yes, I have a special set that is reserved just for coloring, and just color. Me too. I also sometimes buy those workbooks for grad scholars when they go on sale at the end of the year. I don't know why, but I get some kind of satisfaction by filling out a times table or listing the state capitals. As a guy that enjoys paranormal romance, I almost always read them on my iPad. Otherwise you have to deal with the whole half-naked man on the cover looks. I'm a male who loves reading chick lit and watching chick flicks. A female friend once called me the gayest straight man she ever knew. You're like the yin to my yang. I like comic books and action movies and horror. Google thinks I'm a teenage boy, not a 32-year-old woman. I really enjoy watching infomercials or home shopping channels. It has nothing to do with the actual products they are hawking. I like watching it for the phenomenon that it is. You know, their gimmick of talking to the viewers as if they are imbeciles and generally doing their best to take advantage of old folks. Drives my wife nuts when I am flipping channels and always subconsciously stop on the shopping shows. I used to watch infomercials in the morning before school when I was younger. My favorite parts were always when it would go black and white and show the old, hard way of doing something. Like someone stirring hot soup with their hand or something similarly ridiculous and outlandish. I know this sounds mild to most redditors, but my answer is playing video games. I'm 26 and I work in an office where the next youngest person is in their mid-40s. I simply cannot talk about playing games. They all view video games as something that only lazy sad losers do, and they constantly complain about their kids who play video games instead of doing homework, doing chores, or whatever else. I feel like I'm trapped in the gaming closet because I know I would be pretty harshly judged if my co-workers knew how much I play games. Being alone for months and having nothing in my house. I love to live simply. No furniture, no TV, just food in the fridge and my computer for learning stuff and clothes, of course. I love being alone and going out and doing things by myself too. Everything feels more grand when it's just me. When I'm with others I get distracted by them and can't enjoy the moment. I used to enjoy that lifestyle. Then I got married. Now there's just so much stuff everywhere. I'm a male in my mid-30s and I prefer sugary cocktails over beer. And I hate whiskey. The latter is a double no-no given my Indian heritage. I drink your chocolatini. I drink it up. One a platini please. Easy on the teeny. McDonald's. I know it's bad for me. Not real food and so on, but it puts me in my happy place. Once a week I treat myself. I don't know if it's an association from my childhood or just something they put in the nuggets, but it makes me happy. Straight dude. And I'm not really ashamed. I freaking love musicals. My dad was raised in NYC and my mom loved show tunes. So I have seen practically every classic Broadway show. My friends don't get it. I don't care. Straight dude. Father of 6. Wicked. Les Mis. Phantom. Yes, please. I can totally get misty-eyed. Will sing the songs for days after a show. And I'm not a bit ashamed. I watch professional gaming. CSGO. StarCraft etc. and people say I am sad for watching it. I don't feel ashamed as such, but I certainly am annoyed when people don't get it. I can't watch people play games, but hey, let's watch a bunch of C who can't sing and pay 12p to text to put them through win the competition where ultimately they will make nothing of their career and will be forgotten after next year's auditions. Once my wife came home to me drinking alone watching pros play Magic the Gathering. The look on her face said volumes. I love fanfiction. Everyone assumes it's all pee. It mostly is, but there are some seriously emotional and involved stories out there. Not only is it a good way to get kids interested in writing, but it also teaches them that they better learn how to grammar. Many children who don't read books read fanfiction because their favorite characters are there. There are actually a lot of published authors who do fanfiction too, just because it's a good exercise and a very fun low requirement exercise. I got my first serious writing start in fanfiction over 10 years ago, and now I've had both poems and short stories published in literary journals. I wouldn't be where I am today if the very anal internet hadn't screamed at me about having terrible grammar and using cliches. Being screamed at makes you learn really fast. Obviously from this post I have far from perfect grammar, but when I started I didn't capitalize things or know what the heck an apostrophe or comma was. I honestly can't read fanfic without a P. I've read smutty one-shots and fics with 70 chapters of good, well-written plot with P in it, but I just can't be bothered with stuff that doesn't have any P in it. Doing anything alone. Travel, movies, restaurants, concerts, etc. I want to do fun stuff and I don't always need someone to share the experience with. I drove from San Antonio to New Orleans this year to check the city out, and when people asked who I went with and I told them no one, the response is always, "You went by yourself." Why? I could never do that. I wanted to. It was fun as heck and I met some cool people there anyway, so who gives a frick? Anime. I make a point not to really talk about it unless it's with very close friends, and the usual reaction to said friends finding out I enjoy anime is pure shock because I'm the polar opposite of a weeaboo. The first high school musical Lost Rocks. I always sing my lungs out while washing dishes, especially duet songs, and I find myself to be particularly good with falsetto technique for high female pitch, as a mid-20s man. Light anime. Like The Devil is a Part-Timer. A lot of those are aimed towards girls who want to fangirl, and if a guy watches them, he loses his man card. When I was in college, my girlfriend and I made a drinking game out of watching Inuyasha. If you couldn't shout out the name of the characters, you drank. We were hammered 12 minutes in. For me it's Star Trek. I love the shows, movies, and the books. I have secret collectibles that are not displayed at my house. I would go full cosplay if I wasn't worried about how it would impact my professional reputation. I feel your pain. I feel the eyebrows I get when I start to mention it. I feel like Trek can correlate with every situation and conversation I've ever had. It's a surprisingly satisfying, deep and relative series. As a man, there is a stigma for being invested in your appearance or metrosexual. I shouldn't feel ashamed about it, but I enjoy shopping and updating my wardrobe even if it means I won't get to go out to eat a nice meal for a few weeks. I don't understand why any man wouldn't want to look fashionable and or presentable. I'm just not the type to wear new-ashed jeans, a pair of Nike tennis shoes and a graphic tee. It was hard to even put that sentence together, but I'll be damned if I don't lust after a well-endowed lady just like the average Joe. Dungeons and Dragons. As in, sit in a room and character for 12 hours on Saturday D&D, 2nd edition, because anything else is for trolls. Number, body, nose, they must never know. CFO and PM at a small construction company. My people drink beer, get in fistfights over Madden, and go deer hunting 3 times a year. I do, and love, all those things. I harvest and split my own firewood. I weld and repair broken trailers. I lift weights. I laugh at city slickers. And I check in as Megorod the half-elf druid, member in good standing of the Brotherhood of the Blue Tower, whenever possible. I will never stop. Used to be ashamed of legitimately liking and enjoying mathematics. Now I'm just embarrassed if people realize the magnitude of my love for it, because it's bordering on being really weird. Like I would probably marry mathematics if it weren't an abstract concept. I've reached a new level and I don't know how to feel about it. Also, I'm into fandom stuff. I've just recently gotten really into Pacific Rim, but I'm not that ashamed of that one. It's my other main one that is embarrassing, because most people have had really awful experiences with fans being really offensive and irritating. I stay in a small corner of fandom away from most of it, but I still get embarrassed when someone I don't know well is like, "Really? You're into that?" I totally think they're judging me, and I honestly enjoy a good deal of Crystal Castle's stuff, Carly Rae Jepsen, some of Taylor Swift's new stuff, MSI, and I still have crappy Nightcore DDR music on my iPod. Also, I love YTP, but I'm not actually ashamed of that. It's freaking funny. I never paid attention in math class as a kid and kick myself for it every day. As long as I understand the concept, math isn't that difficult. I never really hated math. I hated being bad at math. I'm a straight man, and I like wearing leggings. It's not a cross-dressing thing. I don't desire to look like a woman. There's nothing inherently feminine about it. It's just a learned pattern. I feel like men's fashion as a whole is really limiting and I kind of want to be more flamboyant about what I wear. But the problem is I still want to sleep with ladies and I know people are going to assume I'm gay. I also pretty much refuse to wear trunks at the beach. European swimwear is more my style. I love Sarah McLachlan. Fumbling Towards Ecstasy is my favorite album ever, and most of her older stuff is excellent. Most people just know her from that horrible ASPCA ad and the song Angel, and figure she's all whiny, sad, chick music. Oh yeah, she also did a song from Toy Story 2 When Jessie Remembers Her Owner. Good song. Taylor Swift. Her music is fun, well written, all by her I might add, and good to have as background noise. I hope her boyfriend dumps her so we get another album soon. But we got one last month. Sherlock Holmes John Watson gay P fanfic, especially the ones based on the BBC Sherlock adaptation. But stuff based on canon Arthur Conan Doyle can also be very entertaining and occasionally strangely moving. I particularly love when characters who usually refer to one another by last name only will suddenly call out each other's first names in bed. Initial reaction, what the frick? Second reaction, dong twitched just a little. Final consensus, upvotes. Well, I'm not necessarily embarrassed by them. But I don't usually bring it up in everyday conversation and can definitely see the stigma attached to them, even if I don't agree. So my biggest ones are pro wrestling and my interest in BDSM kinky sex. I'm into BDSM. Don't know about the rest of the world, but where I live I feel there are huge stereotypes about the entire scene. A lot of people base their opinions on these huge stereotypes and just plain wrong information about the scene. You don't have to be some crazy bloodlusting psychopath to enjoy BDSM. Heck, pain isn't even close to an essential part of the scene. A popular way of representing BDSM is dividing it into its three core elements: bondage and discipline, domination and submission, sadism and masochism. I find the first two extremely exciting, but I'm not into pain much and I don't enjoy it outside the bedroom, as in 24/7. I find it a fun way of teasing and exploring our partner's bodies and desires. Also, it's also portrayed in the media, as a joke or not, that kinky people are crazy motherfuckers. And I get that it's a joke, but when the joke is the only way the scene is ever represented, it just feels bad. It takes a huge amount of trust for me to let people know about that side of me, because I fear being alienated because of it, and that just sucks. I'm an adult male who absolutely loves Madoka Magica. Only my closest friends know how much I love it and they think I'm crazy for it. I watch a lot of cartoons and spend money on video games and Pokemon cards. I'm married and my husband doesn't mind. But that's not the problem. The problem is that no one wants to see me as an adult because of the stuff I enjoy. I'd rather watch Adventure Time and laugh at those jokes than some TV drama series with horrible depressing acting. And I'd rather play a game than sit and watch more mindless television. Our bills are paid, we're adults and in a wonderful marriage. We just enjoy silly stuff. Frick, we have risk. My parents still give me crap for that. We both had not so great childhoods, so maybe we're making up for our lack of toys now, but heck, we're happy. Why do people think cartoons and video games are for kids anyway? Wearing a skirt. I am a man and I am severely jealous of the plethora of clothing items I am not supposed to wear. Maxi skirts are seriously the most freaking comfortable thing ever. Drugs other than marijuana. Sometimes I like a little pep in my step, or to stay up all night and do computer stuff. Sometimes I like a little short-lived euphoria to break out of the doldrums of everyday life. Coke. Sometimes I want to be amazed by seeing the simplest things like they're a brand new thing, or to think of the most mundane things as if they are foreign, new, and bewildering. Psychedelics. Probably I just need psychiatric meds, but because mental illness itself is so stigmatized, I use drugs because I can keep that on the down low. I'm a grown butt man and I just bought a Wii U for the sole purpose of playing Smash and other Mario games. Primarily by myself because my friends outgrew Nintendo and the relatively few who still play video games at all only play grown-up video games like COD. Frick outgrowing crap. If I want to come home after a tough day at work, grab a glass of whiskey and get lost in a colorful world where I get to stomp on Koopas and Goombas all day, I bloody well am going to do it. IT reminds me of a simpler time. Alright. Doctor Who. I watched a ton of it on Netflix a couple years back and then one day I heard some fans talking and they were just not the kind of people I wanted to be thought of as. The level of horror when I discovered how annoying the fan base on the internet was prevented me from ever watching it again. Bowling. I love going bowling. I used to be in a league. Order a pizza and a couple pitchers of beer and it's a cheap, fun evening. But whenever I suggest it as a fun night out, people stare at me like I'm suggesting Chuck E. Cheese or something, so I've stopped suggesting it. I really enjoy camping, bonfires, the smell of wood smoke, whiskey in the outdoors. Now it's been ruined by all this lumbersexual crap. Such a ridiculous thing to call a trend. Reality TV. It's so fascinating to me. I just love people and sociology and it's a perfect outlet for that. Reality TV is like Animal Planet but for humans. I get why some people hate it and it often is really, really dumb, but there are some great and interesting reality type shows. I've been hooked on Intervention for a while just because I love seeing how people operate and what leads them to being how they are. I collect Monster High dolls. When I'm stressed out or bored I brush their hair, give them new styles, redress and pose them for pictures. People I know think I'm weird. I don't know. Better than having kids. That song Bleeding Love by Leona Lewis. I'm a 6'4", 220 pounds bearded man that is the boss of 10 or so other men who do manly stuff for their paychecks. So I always have the radio on a country station when we're riding in the company rigs. Tentacle hentai. It's a strange fixation, and it has to be hentai, not the one involving mechanical thingamabobs that are seriously scary. Playing video games in public. I own a 3DS and it might as well be a home console because I never take it out of the house. This is because the only adults I see who play on a 3DS in public are almost always living stereotypes of what people think gamers look like. Overweight, unkempt, filthy clothes, and terrible body odor. So there's a stigma when it comes to people who take handheld games with them when they go out. It's pretty stupid because I see tons of people with their eyes glued to their phone when they're walking around or waiting for the bus. But as soon as I take out a 3DS instead of an iPhone I am suddenly a fat disgusting freak. Living strictly within my means, which are meager, but my work intrudes very little on my creative life and that's how I goddamn like it. I don't care about having hella money, nice clothes, jewelry, a nice car, plastic crap for my walls or smelly crap for my carpets. I don't go to the mall. I don't go to bars or clubs. I don't care about what's in or isn't or whether I'm thought of as cool. The money means more to me as security, food, necessities and free time than it ever will as stuff. My life just runs. Like my elderly car. Everything is cared for. I have plenty to eat and warmth in winter. The bills and rent are paid right on time each month. I have savings. I'm not on state aid, other than health insurance, and I have lots of time to paint, write, work on 3D projects, think, walk. I'm not really ashamed. I'm not proud necessarily. I have moments when I wish I made a more dazzling impression on someone, or had nicer comforts, but they're fleeting. Social stuff actually just intrudes on my creative time too. If I'm ashamed, it's only in a vague way for being so odd. Money doesn't motivate me. I can't get excited about it. It's just survival to me, not living. I struggle with both physical and mental illness. The last 9 years I've been in and out of the hospital, seeing numerous doctors, etc. As much as I don't want to be that person who's always ill, I don't necessarily hate it. It's become a large part of my identity, and this is an issue I'm tackling in therapy. The problem is being ill in whatever form it may be has become my normal. The majority of people don't become accustomed to their local. It's a place to be avoided, saved for only the worst times. But I don't have that. I want that hesitation, that associated fare, IVs, cardiac monitors, IM injections, EKGs, MRIs, CTs, the list goes on. But nothing about hospitals scare me. Heck, being inpatient is also part of that normal. I hate that it's become my normal, my identity. A few people I've mentioned this to have related in their own ways. After being ill for so long, other things slip away. Important goals are sidetracked or simply forgotten. There also exists the problem that because my life was placed on hold so many times, my peers passed me in their lives. Because of this, I latch onto my illness as my identity. Who would I be without it? I'm trying to find that person. TLDR. I've been sick for many years, physically and mentally, and I've come to hold that as my identity. I want to change that and I'm trying to do so. Pro wrestling. There's nothing wrong with watching two men covered in baby oil, wearing nothing but speedos, rolling around on the ground together. Cigarettes. Everyone acts like smokers are the devil. I'm fine keeping it away from you. Just please stop making me feel like a pedophile for liking burned tobacco. I like lollies. I'd never go for a real child or anything. They're gross. I just have this fixation with 2D things. I can't tell anyone. My Little Pony. Friendship is magic. Not going to lie. My nieces love that show and watch it all the time. When I babysit, they of course want to watch it with me. It's not that bad really. I mean, for a kids show it's pretty funny. And it sure beats those mind-numbing shows like Teletubbies by miles. I'm a 17-year-old guy. I'm popular at my high school. I'm a jock. I dress OG. I arc the look. And I just so happen to like watching My Little Pony. Pretty much only my close friends know and they don't give a frick. I'm not even pushy or obnoxious about it, but I feel like if I mentioned it on Reddit, even if it was someone related to the subject, I'd be downvoted to oblivion. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.